What's up, chat? Welcome. What's up? What's up, chat? Welcome back to another daily read of the 1 Year Bible. Today we're on day 203 in a row. 203 days in a row. We're reading from the 1 Year Bible, so that means we got 365 days. Um, but we're on day 203, man. So today we're going to be reading from 2 Chronicles 4 to 1 through 6. We're going to follow it up with Romans 7, 1 through 13, then Psalms 17, 1 through 15, and then Proverbs 19, 20 through 22 to 23. Okay. Without further ado, day 203 of the 1 Year Bible read. Coming from July the 21st, because we're 2 days early. I almost did say that. Now, 2 Chronicles 4, 1 through 6. Solomon also made a bronze altar 30 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 15 feet high. Then he cast a great round basin, 15 feet across from rim to rim, called the sea. It was 7.5 feet deep and about 45 feet in circumference. It was encircled just below its rim by 2 rows of figures that resembled oxen. There were about 6 oxen per foot, all the way around. They were cast as part of the basin. The sea was placed on a base of 12 bronze oxen, all facing outward. 3 faced north, 3 faced west, 3 faced south, and 3 faced east, and the sea rested on them. The walls of the sea were about 3 inches thick, and its rim flared out like a cup and resembled a water lily blossom. It could also hold about 16,500 gallons of water. And he also made 10 smaller basins for washing the utensils for the burnt offerings. He set 5 on the south side and 5 on the north. But the priests washed themselves in the sea. He then cast 10 gold lampstands according to the specifications that had been given, and he put them in the temple. 5 were placed against the south wall, and 5 were placed against the north wall. He also built 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 along the south wall and 5 along the north wall. Then he molded 100 gold basins. He then built a courtyard for the priests, and also the large outer courtyard. He made doors for the courtyard entrances and overlaid them with bronze. The great bronze basin called the sea was placed near the southeast corner of the temple. Huram-Abi also made the necessary wash basins, shovels, and bowls. So at last, Huram-Abi completed everything King Solomon had assigned him to make the temple of God. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the 2 networks of interwoven chains that decorated the capitals, the 400 pomegranates that hung from the chains of the capitals, 2 rows of pomegranates for each of the chain networks that decorated the capitals on the top of the pillars, the water carts holding the basins, the sea, and the 12 oxen under it, the ash buckets, the shovels, the meat hooks, and all the related articles. Huram-Abi made all these things of burnished bronze for the temple of the Lord, just as King Solomon had directed. The king had them cast in clay molds in the Jordan Valley between Succoth and Zarethan. Solomon used such great quantities of bronze that its weight could not be determined. Solomon also made all the furnishings for the temple of God: the gold altar, the tables for the bread of the presence, the lampstands and their lamps of solid gold, to burn in front of the most holy place as prescribed. The flour, what's up, niece? How you doing? The flower decorations, lamps, and tongs, and all of the purest gold. The lamp snuffers, bowls, ladles, and incense burners, all of solid gold. The doors for the entrances of the most holy place and the main room of the temple overlaid with gold. So Solomon finished all his work on of the on the temple of the Lord, and then he brought all the gifts his father David had dedicated, the silver, the gold, and the various articles, and he stored them in the treasuries of the temple of God. Solomon then summoned to Jerusalem the elders of Israel and all the heads of tribes, the leaders of the ancestral families of Israel. And they were to bring the Ark of the Lord's covenant to the temple from its location in the city of David, also known as Zion. So all the men of Israel assembled before the king at the annual festival of shelters, which is held in early autumn. When all the elders of Israel arrived, the Levites picked up the ark. The priest and the Levites brought up the ark along the special tent and all the sacred items that had been in it. There before the ark, King Solomon and the entire community of Israel sacrificed so many sheep, goats, and cattle that no one could keep count. Then the priests carried the ark of the Lord's covenant into their inner sanctuary of the temple, the most holy place, and placed it beneath the wings of the cherubim. The cherubim spread their wings over the ark, forming a canopy over the ark and its carrying poles. These poles are so long that their ends could be seen from the holy place, which is in front of the most holy place, but not from the outside. They are still there to this day. Nothing was in the ark except the 2 stone tablets that Moses had placed in it at Mount Sinai, where the Lord had made a covenant with the people of Israel when they left Egypt. Facts. It's good to see you again. Good to see you again. Then the priests left the holy place. All the priests who were present and purified themselves, whether or not they were on duty that day. And the Levites, who were musicians, Asaph, Heman, Jeduthun, and all their sons and brothers, were dressed in fine linen robes and stood at the east side of the altar playing cymbals, lyres, and harps. They were joined by 120 priests who were playing trumpets. The trumpeters and singers performed together in unison in praise and to give thanks to the Lord. Accompanied by trumpets, cymbals, and other instruments, they raised their voices and praised the Lord with these words: He is good. His faithful love endures forever. At that moment, a thick cloud filled the temple of the Lord. The priests could not continue the service because of the cloud, for the glorious presence of the Lord filled the temple of God. And then Solomon prayed, O Lord, you have said that you will live in a thick cloud of darkness. Now I have built a glorious temple for you, a place where you can live forever. Then the king turned around to the entire community of Israel, standing before him, and gave this blessing. Praise the Lord, the God of Israel, who has kept the promise he made to my father, David. For he told my father, from the day I brought my people out of the land of Egypt, I have never chosen a city among any of the tribes of Israel as a place where a temple should be built to honor my name. Nor have I chosen a king to lead my people Israel, but now I have chosen Jerusalem as a place for my name to be honored. And I have chosen David to be king over my people Israel. Then Solomon said, my father David wanted to build this temple to honor the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. But the Lord told him, you wanted to build the temple to honor my name. Your intention is good, but you're not the one to do it. One of your own sons will build a temple to honor me. And now the Lord has fulfilled the promise he made, for I have become king in my father's place, and now I sit on the throne of Israel, just as the Lord promised. And I have built. Sticky pages. This temple to honor the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. There I have placed the ark, which contains the covenant that the Lord made with the people of Israel. And now chat, what's up, pro? How you doing? Welcome to the chat, bro. And now Romans 7:1-13. Now, today's my birthday. Hey, happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, pro. Happy birthday, pro. What brief intermission. I'm sure God is cool with this. Happy birthday, pro. Happy birthday, bro. Happy 15th birthday, bro. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great birthday. I hope that was a good enough celebration. If not, I'll sing the whole song. But back to the word. Okay, so Romans 7:1-13. Now, dear brothers and sisters, you're familiar with the law, so don't you know that the law applies only while a person is living? For example, when a woman marries, the law binds her to her husband as long as he is alive. But if he dies, the laws of marriage no longer apply to her. So while her husband is alive, she will be committing adultery if she married another man. But if her husband dies, she is free from that law and does not commit adultery when she remarries. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is the point. You died to the power of the law when you died with Christ. And now you're united with the one who was raised from the dead. As a result, we can let me read real quick. Now I want to trembling. Hey, I went to one of those with my nephews the other day. It was pretty fun. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is the point. You died to the power of the law when you died with Christ. And now you are united with the one who was raised from the dead. As a result, we can produce a harvest of good deeds for God. When we were controlled by our old nature, sinful desires, we were at work within us. And the law aroused these evil desires that produced a harvest of sinful deeds, resulting in death. But now we have been released from the law, for we died to it and are no longer captive to its power. Now we can serve God, not in the old way of obeying the letter of the law, but in the new way of living in the Spirit. Well then, am I suggesting that the law of God is simple? Of course not. In fact, it was a law that showed me my sin. I would never have known that coveting is wrong if the law had not said, you must not covet. But sin used his command to arouse all kinds of covetous desires within me. If there were no law, sin would not have that power. At one time I lived without understanding the law. But when I learned the command not to covet, for instance, the power of sin came to life, and I died. So I discovered that the law's commands, which were supposed to bring life, brought spiritual death instead. Sin took advantage of these commands and deceived me. It used the commands to kill me, but still the law itself is holy, and its commands are holy and right and good. How can that be? Did the law, which is good, cause my death? Of course not. Sin used what was good to bring about my condemnation to death. So we can see how terrible sin really is. Uses God's good commands for its own evil purposes. And now, Psalms 17, 1 through 15. Romans 7, 1 through 13 is a great reread if you want to go back and reread that one, especially those last verses. But Psalm 17, 1 through 15. O Lord, hear my plea for justice. Listen to my cry for help. Pay attention to my prayer, for it comes from honest lips. Declare me innocent, for you see those who do right. You have tested my thoughts and examined my heart in the night. You have scrutinized me and found nothing wrong. I am determined not to sin in what I say. I have followed your commands, which keep me from following cruel and evil people. My steps have stayed on your path, and I have not wavered from following you. I am praying to you because I know you will answer, O God. Bend down and listen as I pray. Show me your unfailing love in wonderful ways. By your mighty power you rescue those who seek refuge from your enemies. Guard me as you would guard your own eyes. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. Protect me from wicked people who attack me, from murderous enemies who surround me. They are without pity. Listen to their boasting. They track me down and surround me, watching for the chance to throw me to the ground. They are like hungry lions, eager to tear me apart, like young lions hiding in ambush. Arise, O Lord, stand against them and bring them to their knees. Rescue me from wicked with your sword, by the power of your hand, O Lord. Destroy those who look to this world for their reward, but satisfy the hunger of your treasured ones. May their children have plenty, leave an inheritance for their descendants. Because I am righteous, I will see you. When I awake, I will see you face to face and be satisfied. And now, Proverbs 19:22 through 23. Loyalty makes a person attractive. It is better to be poor than dishonest. Fear the Lord leads to life, brings security and protection from harm. And now, death by choice. Death by choice. Paul writes that dying with Christ eliminates the power of the law over our lives. It does something else too. It unites us with Christ. Throughout the scripture, we're told to die to ourselves. If you're a married man, you are called to die to yourself and sacrifice just as Christ did for the church. When we choose to die to our temptations rather than follow them, we are united with Christ while at the same time creating unity in our marriages. Submission is not just for wives. Dying to yourself requires it. Ooh. Did I write that down last night? And now, Chad, I'm going to turn off this camera. Ask for clarity, wisdom, discernment, today's word, and I'll be right back. We're back, tab. What's up, dude? No, there's nobody at the door. There's nobody at the door. There's nobody at the door. Okay, okay, chat. So we read from July the 21st today in our 1 year Bible. And we read from chapters 2 Chronicles 4 1 through 6, going through verse 11. And then we also followed up with Romans 7 1 to 13, and then Psalms 17 1 to 15. And we wrapped up a nice read with Proverbs 19 20 through 22 to 23. What's up, Raph? How you doing? Welcome to the chat, bro. Good to see you. We're doing our go over of today's read um, really quickly. We're going to start with 2 Chronicles 4 1 through 6. Um, so this is how we're going to talk about 2 Chronicles um, today. Um, and here today we're talking about Solomon building the well I guess the altar um, for the Ark of the Covenant for God, right? The temple, the home, the home place that he was building to as an altar to God, right? Um, and let's talk about um, how it was built, right? Um, it wasn't built with the least of the things that it had. They built it with an abundance, right? Um, because they were blessed so well by God that they were able to build it with abundance, right? But they didn't grab the leftovers to give to God, right? Um, they grabbed the best of the best. They gave the best of the best to God, right? Um, and this goes with to in this parable today. It's about a temple, but and in our explanation, it's going to be about us, right? Um, you giving the best that you can today, or you you smiling about the effort that you gave today, is you giving thanks to God for having another day, another chance at life today, another opportunity to do something cool, or to see some family members, or to make somebody else smile, right? Um, so let's not give the least. Why do I see a crown and a number two next to my name? I have no idea. It's a new feature on YouTube. It's a new feature on the YouTube chat. Um, but let's remember to not give God our least, right? Um, but some days are long days. Some days are long days. Everybody has them, right? Um, but even on the long days, try to give your best, right? That's um, that's being appreciative of having this life, right? Because Solomon, when he built the altar to God, he didn't give the least. They gave the best, right? So, um, as a personal altar to God's grace and glory for you being able to walk this earth right now, um, give God your best, not your least, not the second place, not your half effort, right? Um, you know, give your best, um, and He is good, and His faithful love endures forever. But let's get into Romans 7 1 through 13. So let's talk about Romans in this way, right? And this is why I said Romans 7 1 through 13 is a great reread. Reread. I, I actually struggled to get that out, I'm not gonna lie. But a great reread, right? Oh man, it's funny, but uh, it's a great read to have again, right? Romans 7:1-13, because it talks about uh, Paul, right? Because Paul is writing this. Um, he's talking about how um, when he was made aware, right? When God's law made him aware of what he was doing that was wrong, um, sin made him want to feel bad instead of trying to improve and move forward and to realize that he was sinning and moving forward from that sin. Sin tried to make him feel bad and to make him feel stuck. Like how, like when you found out you were doing something bad. The first time you found out you were doing something bad, it doesn't really matter. It's like, oh, whatever. I'm doing this my whole life. But then at some point in your life, you have an epiphany. And you're like, oh man, I don't want to keep doing that bad anymore. And then that time you have that epiphany, right? Um, you like start to think about like all the other times in life where you did that same thing, right? And then it's like, oh man, but I was doing this bad thing for this long. And now you start, and then that's when you have the choice, right? A decision, whether or not you're gonna beat down yourself and make yourself feel worse about something you were doing in the past, or to realize that God was just opening your eyes so that you can move forward and not do the same thing again, right? Because you were hurting others, and God just doesn't want you to hurt nobody else, right? And that's it. It doesn't mean beat yourself down about it, or go on some lifelong journey based on this one thing that you were doing wrong, right? Um, it just means now you're aware and you can make a different decision now, and that's it, right? Um, but Paul here, he's talking about how sin tried to trick him into um, into feeling bad about it, into staying into that, into starting to wallow. You know, not saying feeling bad is a bad thing, but wallowing and staying in that place and letting it fester and build into something that it was never in the first place is what sin will try to make you do. And when you become aware of your sins, sometimes you start to wallow and be like, oh man, but I was this bad person in the past, right? You know, instead of seeing what your eyes are being open to, right? That now, oh, I was making mistakes. Now, what can I do in the future to not do those same things again? And um, then you get a way forward, right? We were talking about cycles yesterday, and you just added something good to a cycle that could have been bad, right? Um, so that's why I feel like Romans 7:1-13 is a great read. Um, you know, it'll free you from the traps. It'll free you from the traps, like God's word is supposed to do, right? Instead of making you feel like you're more shackled. Let's get free from the traps, you know. Um, And let's hop into Proverbs 19:22-23. Loyalty makes a person attractive. It is better to be poor than dishonest. Fear of the Lord leads to life, brings security and protection from harm. Right? Excuse me. You know, and that just means knowing what you stand for and being loyal to that. Um, now, and that can apply to so many things, right? If you're a woman to your man, then when times is hard, you help him out. If you're a loyal man to your woman, when times is hard, you help him out, right? You do your part. You're loyal in that sense, right? And that loyalty is attractive, right? Um, it brings comfort, right? And that your partner now will probably look at you in a completely different light, because maybe in their head somewhere they maybe thought maybe when the times was hard you might leave them, but you showed them something different when you stayed by their side, right? Um, there are people that in the world that do take advantage of stuff like that, but I mean, um, eventually they'll leave your life anyways, right? But um, you know, uh, but like loyal to yourself, right? Um, loyal to God, loyalty is very attractive. It radiates, right? Um, Promiscuity is not very attractive. It's enticing, but that's not attractive. um, there's two different meanings, um, and it leads to death. Some piece of you, right? It doesn't have to mean physical death. It's just a death of a piece. So, um, what is it better? How's it better to lead your life? You know. Um, and then death by choice. Paul writes that dying with Christ eliminates the power of the law over our lives. It does something else too. It unites us with Christ. Throughout Scripture, we're told to die to ourselves. If you're a married man, you are called to die to yourself for sacrifices that Christ did for the church. When we choose to die to our temptations rather than follow them, we are united with Christ while at the same time creating unity in our marriages. Submission is not just for the wives. Dying to yourself requires it. And chat, that is the end of today's 1-year Bible read. I hope you guys enjoyed today's read. Um, I enjoyed it. I definitely did, you know. Um, and that is the end of day 203, man. We just doing this thing, bro. We're really just doing this thing. We're really just doing this thing, bro. Over 200 days in a row. Whoa. I have YouTube channels I made in the past that didn't even last 200 days. That's so funny, bro. Oh man, it's funny. But I mean, this is also loyalty. There we go. Another thing of loyalty right there. I've been loyal to this read every single day for 203 days. Even sometimes I do not want to get up here and read. I'm just not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just don't feel like it, but then I read and I just feel so much better. So, um, you know, so I'm grateful. I'm grateful, to be honest. Um, for sure. And now, chat, this is the end of the day's 1-year Bible read. It's over 200 days going, baby, strong. 203 days down, baby. Now, tomorrow will be day 204, and we may stream a little more today. You never know. You never know what we're gonna do here. I'm not gonna lie. You really don't know at all whatsoever, because I don't either. So it's always a surprise, you know. But that's the end of this stream right here, though. That's what we do know. This stream is over for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And if you haven't never seen this outro before, this is the first time you see this outro. Let's do it. Let's do it, baby. We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for joining me for another 1-year Bible read on the channel. This is day 203 in a row. Knocked down off the calendar. Knocked down. Woo! Going forward, baby. Let's go. And I always appreciate your presence as much as I always say this. I always want to keep saying this. I appreciate your presence. It's the most valuable thing you can give me, and I truly do appreciate you spending even a millisecond with me in this chat. You know. Like I threw the millisecond in there. Yes, even the milliseconds matter, you know. And yeah, that's it. Peace. You have a great one. Because I'm gonna have a great rest of mine. Peace. Oh man, it's funny.